Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News with me, Benis Abubeidulansa. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telisol 4G, just a touch. And coming up, NDC chairman in the Upper West region shot dead.
After we asked the driver to move, we saw two to come out from the driver's side, and we had a gunshot. We were able to get into the driver's head, but it hasn't entered.
We'll bring you an eyewitness account as police begin investigations into the shooting. An uncertainty over whether NDC chairman will honor police invitation for his alleged role in recent kidnappings and fire incidents in the country, as his lawyers and party executives appear to contradict each other.
We will resist this. The national chairman of the NDC will not honor this invitation.
I had the communication director yesterday, but we as lawyers have also met and we've given the appropriate advice.
Does it contradict the party's position?
That I cannot tell you.
We'll hear from a member of Mr. Ampofo's legal team, even as the NDC Council of Elders prepare to address a news conference on the matter. And Volta Regional Police beef up security in regional capital and other areas as members of Homeland Study Group Foundation vow to declare the Volta region independent of Ghana despite arrest of some of their members.
We have put in enough measures to ensure that nobody embarks on any act that will occasion the breach of the peace. Once we are on the ground, we will protect the interests of the nation.
We have details plus hear from an MP from the area urging government to dialogue with the agitators.
These are matters that government should respond to appropriately to assuage the fears of these people. You don't use criminal prosecution to quell a call by a group of people for self-determination. It hasn't worked anywhere.
And in sports,
it's 18 years of the May 9 Accra Stadium disaster today, and where 127 fans perished. Activities to commemorate the event took place this morning. We'll be bringing you details later.
And with 3 days to the celebration of mothers, we put the spotlight on non-biological mothers shaping lives with their selfless love.
My uncle's wife, this woman had never given birth before, and she did not only take care of me, but about 6 or 7 of us.
More on that as we count down to the Joy FM Mother's Day lunch at the Labadi Beach Hotel. It's a pleasure to have you here. The details now. The NDC chairman in the Upper West region has been shot dead. He was allegedly shot last night by unidentified assailants whilst being driven. The details of the shooting are sketchy, but police have begun investigations into the incident and have ruled out any political motivations for now. Rafiq Salam is at the family house of the deceased and joins us live. Hello, Rafiq.
Hello.
I must imagine it will be a very sober atmosphere there. Tell us what's happening at the home of the former NDC chairman.
They are in grief and it's in a somber mood, and then the majority of the people are clad in either red or black, and they are mourning the chairman, who happens to be a breadwinner. He's a father of 3 and has several dependents on him, and so the people cannot fathom actually what happened. But I have also been speaking to one of the 5 occupants of the Benz ML that they were in. His name is Brother Philip, and he spoke to me how the whole incident happened.
My brother, I'm very sorry, and it was very bad because what happened on last night is not good at all. We went to a funeral at Kadupiri. Our former constituency secretary, mothers died, and we were able to go to the funeral. So after we left the funeral around just 7:45 or so, and we were on our way coming, we saw 2 vehicles. We saw 2 young men coming out with torchlight. So we thought that it is the police. So we were able to slow down. And later we detected that it is not police. Then we asked the driver to move. And after we asked the driver to move, we saw two to come out from the driver's side. And we had a gunshot. So a gunshot, we were able to detect that who do they stop, because they stopped on the driver's side. And the driver was able to hang himself on the steer, and the bullet didn't get him, but the bullet were able to get into the driver's head, but it having entered, then it penetrates to our constituency chairman. And
so, Rafiq, the police have ruled out any political motives for this, but have they been telling you what they suspect?
They are saying that for now they are thinking that it's an attack, but they will need to move further in the investigation to ascertain what actually transpired in this case. But the family I also spoke to also has also not ruled out the political motives involved, because they are saying that they can't say for now, but Roberts didn't take anything away from them. They are really worried about the situation. But the NDC in the Upper West region, in the next few hours, will be holding a press conference to speak on the issue.
Thank you very much, Rafiq Salam there. He reports from the Upper West region for us. We will bring you more on this unfortunate incident. But let's stay with the NDC. The Police Criminal Investigations Department is expecting its national chairman, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, to assist in investigations into his alleged role in recent kidnappings and fire incidents in the country. A letter to Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo signed by CID boss Mami Tiwa Adodankwa requested that he shows up today at the CID headquarters at 2 p.m. to be interrogated on the matter. The party insists he will not honor the invitation, but his lawyers are unable to say whether he would show up or not. We'll hear from a member of Mr. Ampofo's legal team shortly, but first, here's a news desk report.
Nobody has left it now. They even went to attack parents. For me, moms have to come in and plead for their parents, because people are not ready for justice. People also start capturing your mothers and fathers and keeping them hostage until you show yourself now.
Excerpts of a controversial leaked audio recording, which is the basis of a court action against the NDC chairman, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, though the party maintains the said audio has been doctored.
Tape which is being circulated is a doctored tape treated with the content reserves.
Ms. Ofosu-Ampofo is standing trial for conspiracy to cause harm and assault against a public officer. He is expected to reappear on May 27 after the Attorney General presented evidence to the court. Even before trial begins, Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo is in fresh trouble as the CID names him a suspect in the recent cases of kidnappings and fire outbreaks across the country. A letter from the CID to Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo says some individuals picked up for interrogation have mentioned the NDC chair as part of a grand scheme designed to cause fear and panic in the country. He is expected to report to the CID headquarters at 2 p.m. Thursday. Former President John Mahama says the invitation is frivolous.
You cannot take any frivolous and vexatious investigation and be inviting the national chairman of the biggest opposition party every day to the CID headquarters on very useless allegations.
Well, the party says the chairman will not honor the CID invitation. Communications officer Sami Jemfi has been explaining why.
He has no assistance to render them. This is a concocted, fabricated intelligence meant to harass him, and we will resist this. The national chairman of the NDC will not honor this invitation.
Well, although the party's position is clear, the position of Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo legal team is not. Abraham Amaliba is member of his legal team and tells my colleague Kojo Yankson they've advised him appropriately on whether or not to show up today at the police CID headquarters at 2 p.m.
I heard the party communicators indicate that they were not going to allow him to attend. I heard the communication director yesterday. But we as lawyers have also met and we've given the appropriate advice, and that will happen.
But do you think that call is justified, that he not attend?
I will speak as a lawyer, and yesterday I had reason to cross-check, and when I cross-checked, I was told that was the party position. But as lawyers, we've also given him advice.
Does it contradict the party's position?
That I cannot tell you. I've told you that because it is about lawyer-client relationship, which is a privileged one, I cannot be divulging. If I divulge now and I leave here and he fires me, where am I going to get my daily bread?
Your position is that this can't be true. There can't be any suspects who have named your client as, being involved in fires or kidnapping. But that is what the police have officially said. So, I mean, what better way of ascertaining whether this is true than attending the invitation and talking with the police?
The police should know that it's not always that when a suspect mentions another person's name, you should be inviting that person. What you do is to conduct some preliminary investigation to know whether or not that information they brought to you is maintainable, is justified.
Some will say that's what they're doing. They're investigating.
No, you don't call the person, because now, if you invite the person to the police, you inadvertently or indirectly accuse him of wrongdoing. When that report was made, or when that person mentioned his name, did they engage in any verification process or any investigations to establish the veracity of what that person said? Because, come to think of it, all the other kidnap cases that we know of, apart from the Takoradi, suspects have been arrested. Now we are thinking that all those cases, 3 of them, Takoradi happened long before Ayawaso West Wuogon. I mean, the girls got missing in November last year, in December last year. Ayawaso West Wuogon took place in 31st January. And so if you say he has been mentioned in kidnap cases, at what point? When your alleged tip of kidnapping took place somewhere January.
You heard the member of the NDC's national chairman, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo legal team, Abraham Amaleba, speaking to Kojo Yankson on the AM show. Meanwhile, the NDC's Council of Elders is preparing to address a news conference on the matter later this afternoon. We'll definitely bring you an update on that. Now, the Volta Regional Police has beefed up security in the regional capital hall and other areas as a group prepares to declare the region independent of Ghana. The Homeland Study Group Foundation has for decades sensitized residents of the Volta and recently created OT regions to demand independence, saying its current status within Ghana lacks legal basis. Joy News is learning the group has designed a flag, currency, and a possible anthem once they declare their independence. Listen.
Various images of the currency of the group have been shared on social media. The currency is the vault, the symbol a V with 2 horizontal bars crossing it. The 100 vault currency is akin to an award certificate showing the image of the Adome Bridge bounded by a chain of wingdings and webdings. The image of the bridge then fades into a few details on the currency. The picture of the chairman, Charles Kwame Kujoji, supporting his left jaw with a finger. It's also got various writings, many of which are riddled with errors. In the writing, Central Bank Western Togoland, the word central is missing an L, so it reads Centra, and the word Western is spelled Western, the positions of the E and the N interchanged. Another word, promise, is missing the last letter, E. Another impression of the vault shows the image of one of the leaders with Bank of Volta boldly written at the top. And the group has got its own flag, the flag of Western Togoland. The flag has got 5 colors, at least: green, red, and black, with diagonal stripes of yellow, green, and black running through it. In the middle, the symbol of a handshake. The group has a lot of structures and offerings set for statehood, including this anthem.
God bless dear Western Togoland, liberty for our motherland. We promise to hold in highest esteem, get united as a great nation.
Well, not yet. It's all turning out to be a pipe dream.
That was a news desk report. Let's take you live to the Volta region. Correspondent Ivy Setaji is monitoring the situation in the area. Hello, Ivy. Now, the Homeland Study Group Foundation had set today to declare independence. Any sign of them?
For now, yes, they are around, but they were taken to court today. So for now, we are waiting for the outcome of the court, then take it from there.
Ivy, we understand that a group of young people hoisted their flag this morning in Alavanyo.
Yes, so some youths were told had their flags up in Alavanyo, and afterwards had to bring it down because some elders or some people asked them to bring it down for some security reasons. So that is what we are learning.
You've also been speaking to some residents of the Volta region, Ivy, on what they make of the group's demands. What have they been telling you?
Yes, so some of them are saying that they are for this idea that Volta region should be on its own, because for some years they have not had any development. Every political party that comes, all the political parties that's NDC and NPP, could not develop Volta region as it should be. So they are also calling for, and some of them are also saying that, well, if they are going to be under another country and have to start all over again, and that is another issue altogether.
If that is what is stipulated 50 years ago until now, at least we have to fight for our freedom, and then, if possibly, see how we can, because other countries are doing with it. Something like Kosovo, when we had Yugoslavia, which has also been split into Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, and all those countries. In every country is a woman, whereby we call Ghana as a she. It means it can give birth to other countries too as well.
If the government should have any issue with these people, they should have invited them. After all, it's a registered organization, I should believe. This is an association. So, and these people are fighting for freedom for Volta also. But then I don't believe they can just get up and declare Volta region independence unless they go through the right process. But it will be an official thing whereby government will be involved in all these things. So arresting these people, I don't believe it's in the right direction, because this is just going to incite people to get up negatively and do other stuff which may begin to create other bad vices in society. So seriously, for me, I don't think it's a good decision by the government to arrest these people.
When they demand for the independence, they are giving them. What did they have? They have farmland, they have river, the fish, and we farm. They have both fish land, water, and the farmland to farm. Taking the boat to jail and other things. They are not doing right in that.
You heard that some residents of the Volta region. Earlier, we spoke to our correspondent there, Ivy Setaji. Well, Public Relations Officer of the Volta region, Police Corporal Prince Dogbache, says there's increased police presence in the area.
We arrested 81 persons yesterday who are members of, or believed to be members of the Homeland Study Group Foundation. And 10 of those people have been charged duly, whereas the rest 71 are on police inquiry bail, assisting in further investigation.
But in terms of the situation in the region, I mean, the group had hinted of undertaking the main activity of declaring independence today. What is the security situation in the region like?
The security situation in the region is very okay. We have put in enough measures to ensure that nobody embarks on any act that will occasion the breach of the peace. And we are also ensuring that orderliness is preserved. And so, largely, yes, there is no, we can't rule out the possibility of anybody coming up to do anything, but for now, there is no such issue of any group of persons or person declaring independence in the region.
Am I to understand that you have your men monitoring various parts of the region?
That is so.
Corporal Prince Dogbache, the Volta Region Police PRO, speaking to my colleague Joseph Akable there. Member of Parliament for South Dine, where the secessionists mostly hail from, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, wants government to engage the group rather than seek to prosecute its leaders.
For me, it appears to be a storm in a teacup that this government is using a sledgehammer to kill an ant. The government should engage them, listen to them, and government should be able to disabuse their mind with scholars. I mean, this matters. There are scholars on this issue, scholars in international law, on constitutionalism and all that. They have raised the issue that there are no legal basis for the union. And these are matters that government should respond to appropriately to assuage the fears of these people. You don't use criminal prosecution to quell a call by a group of people for self-determination. It hasn't worked anywhere, globally. And I don't think it will work. The call is that government approach to handling the matter is not the best. This cannot be a criminal prosecution. You should engage them and meet them somewhere. Well, if I say meet them somewhere, I mean they should meet them in terms of their demands. Government should be able to listen to them and see how best to handle the matter, and not to hound them in their homes, send a helicopter to go and bring them to unknown places.
Roxanne Dafiamekpo is MP for South Dai in the Volta region. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Benis Abubedulansa. Still to come, the politics of rocks and proverbs will tell you why some women are asking former President John Mahama to quote-unquote come and collect his stone.
Today, when I came here, I was giving a lot of stone. In our tradition, if you are giving stone, it means that you gave some advice to somebody and the person didn't take the advice.
Thank you so much for staying here on the Midday News. It's now time to hear what's happening in the world of sports. May 9th it is.
Absolutely. So 18 years ago, Ghana football grabbed the headlines for all the wrong reasons after 127 fans died at Accra Sports Stadium. It was during a league match between rivals Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Hearts of Folk. Now, this morning, Sports Minister Isaac Eselma supervised an event to commemorate, what happened that day, tribute paid to all those who perished, and also former Kotoko chairman. He was in charge during the disaster. Herbert Mensah has been talking. He says lessons have still not been learnt.
For me, it is fundamental that we should, as a nation, as a people, not forget. It's not so much about celebrating, but it is honoring the dead. And it is let the average and ordinary Ghanaian understand that he is respected. It is not as though he goes to the stadium expecting to enjoy, to be entertained, and assume that the security will be there, and he's lost his life. Yes, it's a long time ago, but we've done this every single year to remind people that the loss of life is the biggest thing and the worst thing that could happen. Over that time, we've had other disasters, and we saw recently there were issues that have occurred which are currently being discussed. And the administrators of the game and those who are culpable and those who are involved in believing they are above the law must always be sanctioned.
You heard Herbert Mensah, former Kumasi Asante Kotoko chairman. That's your sports for the afternoon, Benny.
Thank you very much, Ridwan Asante there. Now, the boss of the National Identification Authority, Professor Ken Atifa, says the authority will investigate and punish persons found to have engaged in various infractions in the mass registration exercise. This comes after the Kanishi police interrogated a landlady said to have given her premises to some NIA officials to conduct the exercise illegally. Speaking on the Super Morning Show today, Mr. Atifa reviewed that 3 persons have been arrested and are standing trial for various infractions. He added his outfit would work diligently to ensure that the process is fair.
We have about 3 people who are currently standing trial, who have engaged in various registration offenses that we are dealing with. One of them is the case is in court. It has been adjourned to the 23rd. A Nigerian who posed as a Ghanaian, registered, claimed that his parents were from Keta, when indeed one parent was from Anambra and another from another Nigerian state, and had gotten the Ghana card. We arrested him. He's standing trial. This was about a month ago. He has already been to court and he's been adjourned to the 23rd. I think it's court 6. Okay. We also have NIA official extorting 10 Ghana cedis from an applicant and registering her. It's an offense. We've reported it to the police, that sort of thing. And then the third case is this one at Abosokai, who 2 of them have been arrested, and it was the vigilance, as you pointed out, of our registration official. It is going to go on. Appropriate legal process will be taken. Ghanaians should support us to make this successful.
You heard there the boss of the National Identification Authority, Professor Ken Atifa. Now, here in Ghana, when you're given a stone, it's an admission that advice or warning you gave at some point, which went unheeded, has come to pass. That was what characterized former President Mahama's tour of some coastal communities in the Greater Accra region yesterday. The former president was met by women who balanced stones on their heads. So why were they presented Mr. Mahama with his stone? Maxwell Agbagba explains.
John Mahama,
it was the NDC party chairman Samuel Ofusu Ampofu who first started singing about stones when the team arrived at Jamestown. The lyrics of the popular song loosely translates as, "What you told us has come to pass. What you told us has happened. Come for your stone."
The significance of this is that we are collecting all those stones across the length and breadth of this country to build a very solid foundation upon which our government and our party is going to rule the country come 2020.
At Choko, about 10 women carrying stones were not deterred by security personnel. Amidst wailing, they shook hands with the former president. One of them sits on the floor, ostensibly crying about unfulfilled promises. An announcement for all the women to drop their stones in the center of the gathering. Former President Mahama later stepped forward to touch them. An obviously excited John Mahama spoke about the actions of the women.
Today, when I came here, I was giving a lot of stones. In our tradition, if you are giving stones, it means that you gave some advice to somebody and the person didn't take the advice, and now they are faced with the reality of what you told them.
Maxwell Agbagba with that report. Now, oftentimes we thank our biological mothers for bringing us up in a very good way and shaping our beautiful lives. But sometimes the people who make our lives meaningful are women other than our biological mothers. As Mother's Day approaches, some listeners who called in to Drive Time with Lexus Bill shared stories of how their lives have been shaped by women other than their own moms.
My uncle's wife, this woman had never given birth before, and she did not only take care of me, but about 6 or 7 of us. I was with my real mother at the age of 5 years old when we had an accident. My uncle decided to come for me to stay with them in Accra. And this woman had taken care of so many of us, and we all call her mother. And people even think she's our real mother. That is a woman who even had fibroid, and they have even removed her womb. That is the woman I'm talking about.
She's actually my mother-in-law. She's so good. She's so loving. I have 4 kids, and she takes care of them as her own. And I just don't know how to celebrate her. She wasn't from a rich family, but she's shown me that it doesn't matter where you come from. You should know that people are valued.
She's my godmother. She's everything to me. She's the one I look up to. If you go to my mom and ask about me, she will tell you to go and see her. She introduced me to anybody she comes across. This is my first time.
So what's your story? Shared on our social media platforms ahead of Joy FM's Mother's Day lunch at the Labadi Beach Hotel on the 12th of May. Tickets are available here at Joy FM for 250 cedis. That's for a single person. 450 cedis for double. 650 for 3 and 4 persons will pay 850 cedis. It's now time to know what's trending. Selinam Ampo is here. Hello.
Yes. On social media today, everybody's talking about May 9th, and we all know what May 9th tells us. The graph says, may the celebration of the lives we lost on that fateful day kickstart the paradigm shift that makes our stadia a safe haven for soccer lovers. May the beautiful souls of the 127 continue to rest well with our maker forever in our hearts. #never again.
Indeed, hashtag never again. And that's how we end this edition of the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Benis Abubedu Lansar. Top story: NDC chairman in the Upper West region shot dead. Police are ruling out any political motives, but we'll stay on the story and bring you more during the day. But you can log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Game over.